Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant and welcome back to another video. So let's continue and do some progress on the project we have been working on. So let me come and make myself a little bit smaller, and just to get our bearings and understand where we are again, I am going to just run this command. We will have docker compose up. So it's going to do its thing. It's going to run through its initializations. Ba 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 ba. All right. It's continuing to start up, and we will see the problem which is occurring. So it's continuing to go. Let me come here and load my Eureka, right? So we have no instances right now. Hold off a second. We'll get that, okay? And this one right here, we have our front end. Okay, so first thing, our front end is working. Just notice that. Our front end is working, yet we don't have any instances in the front end. And I just saw more movement over there, so let me refresh this and we'll see there. Okay, we have our consumer and we have our producer, which are the two microservices, producer here and consumer right there. They're registering with Eureka. My other one, my front-end service, which is the API gateway, this one is not registering with Eureka. And I can come here and I'll just do a test thing, so whatever. Let's just go paper, sure, paper. Right, and quantity is 7. Just put that in there. Failed to reach producer service, okay? So it is not able to get to that producer backend service because it's not able to register with the Eureka. So that's what we need to figure out in this video is what's going on, why is it not registering, and also not just fixing the problem, but kind of understanding what is the problem, how is it actually working, so that we can fix the problem. So let's take a sip of, this is aloe. There we go. I should have got some coffee. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. We can still have some coffee, right? Let me just try this again. Nope. Reload it. And then something else, quantity is 4, add supply, still unable to reach it. Okay, so let's come here and let's just check our front end, okay? So it maps 3000 to 3000, which is the port that we're trying to actually interact with, right? So I'm curious if this Eureka port, which is 8761, is that being confused with the 3000? That's one thing that I could possibly think of. The other thing that I think is kind of strange is, okay, so producer and consumer, they are registering themselves, and both of those are Spring Boot Java applications. This front end, as you can see here, this is not Java. This is not Spring Boot. This is JavaScript. Okay, we're using Node.js here. So is there something in the way that it is being done which it needs to be different for the JavaScript applications? It's another thing that could be happening. So let's move forward and see what we might want to do. Okay. Running the evict task. Client.start, okay. The other thing that happened was we changed this to front end. I'm thinking that possibly this is wrong. Change this to try to get Docker Compose to work with Eureka. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to Copilot. I am going to start asking it, like, can you explain how a Node.js program will be able to communicate with a Eureka server when both microservices, when both are running in separate containers, separate Docker containers. I am trying to understand the concept. Trying to understand the concepts. So break this down in for teaching, not just solving the problem. Okay. So we're going to try to understand how it works, how it operates, and then from that see if we can find any mistakes going on. Okay. So imagine each Docker container is a tiny computer running in your own app, or running its own app. Your Node.js service is in one container and your Eureka server is in another. They're isolated by default, like two laptops on a network, okay? They're on the same network, but they're on different laptops. They're on different hardware, okay? They need to find each other to talk. That's where Docker, networking, and Eureka come in. So when you use Docker Compose, it automatically creates a virtual network. So that's one thing that I do need to realize is I have a virtual network, which is this right here, micronet. Okay, so I have this micronet, I have this micronet, micronet. So for all three of my microservices, I have this micronet network, and it is of Bridge. So I'm not immediately suspicious of this, and the reason that I say that is because all of these services, the Eureka server, the producer service, and the consumer service, and the front end, all have this same micronet network. And if the consumer and producer are working and able to connect to the Eureka, then that indicates that, okay, it's probably not the problem necessarily of the network, but I might be configuring how I try to interact with this network incorrectly on my Node.js, possibly. Okay, so you don't need IP addresses or localhost. Docker handles the DNS resolution internally. So my Node.js container can say host is Eureka server, port is 8761. I should have specified that actually my Eureka server is not in Node.js. My Eureka server is in Spring Boot. It's my front-end service, which is in Node.js. Okay. But let's just assume, like, okay, fine. It's maybe not fine. Maybe I need to call it this specific Eureka server. That could be a problem. Okay. Eureka server exposes a REST API. Okay? Eureka is a service registry. It has post and get APIs. Okay. Your Node.js app uses Eureka.js client to, now this is the correct thing, register itself by sending a post request with metadata, okay? We need to check to make sure that we're doing that. Periodically sends a heartbeat to mark itself as up, okay? Query the registered services to discover their IP and port. Okay, so seems like this is the one that we are struggling on. Okay. When your Node.js app runs, or starts, it runs this client.start. Now we actually saw that, which was right. We do this start Eureka, and then we come here into this function and do client.start, okay? I wonder if I could put a breakpoint there. I'm not sure if I can. So this sends a registration request to Eureka with details like app. Okay. And then later my application can do client.get instance by app ID and then producer service. So what happens if I do put a breakpoint there? Will it actually break or not? It's a fun experiment to do anyways, I guess, I don't know. Okay. Probably not, because I didn't run it in debug anyways. Okay. Yeah, because it's doing its thing. I'm going to come here. I'm going to reload this. So yeah, it's up, but it didn't do the breakpoint, so whatever. What if I came in here and could it be that it is having a problem, like it's not even using the fallbacks? I don't want to use fallbacks actually. I almost want to get rid of this. I kind of want to delete it actually. I don't want it to be using a fallback. So here's where it's going to be sending those GET request right here. Here's the post one. But we can't find its name here. I'm going to guess that if actually I change this here, running on port 3000. We expose 3000 to the world. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to trace where we're actually sending this Eureka API call to. Okay. So I see front end gateway here. I see front end gateway here. I see front end. And we have this front end. What about this Eureka server, right? What is this? And host is called Eureka server, and that should be the same, right? It's on this location, okay? And previously I tried host docker internal. And I thought actually that worked. This should just be the name that I'm giving myself, right? Means host, which is front end. Now, the other thing that I'm curious about is, do I need to recompile this or anything for it to work again? Let me just try this one more time. Just do docker compose up. The reason that I thought that I didn't need to do it was because when I do docker compose up, it will actually do that npm run, and npm run compiles it, right? So let me just come here, reload this. Failed to reach it, okay. I'm just gonna do this, and we have no instances. I saw some movement there, and that. Okay, let me. Not this one. Not this one. Should be this one. Okay. I am thinking that possibly the issue might be that I am not recompiling my Node.js application after I make the changes. I am just going and, or I am making the changes in code, and then going to my terminal and running the command docker compose up. Is this okay? Okay. Okay, your instincts are solid. Let's see what's happening. What happens when I run Docker Compose up? Docker checks if the image for Node.js already exists. If it does, nothing has changed in the Docker file or the build context. It will reuse the existing image. So unless you explicitly rebuild the image, Docker is likely running an older version. If that is the case, go in to, no, not you. We are going to front end, okay? And now Docker images. Oh my goodness, what is this nonsense? There's way too much going on here. So what exact image is my Docker Compose looking for? Because I have this Docker Compose, it comes in here, it's running this build at this location, right? Which means that it's coming in and looking for either the front end's Docker file here, which should do node and app.js, which should run the code, right? Or producer here. Here's another one, and this one does the Java and runs the jars. This one I could understand if it's not working properly, because it's running the actual jar files that I need to compile myself. The other one doesn't seem to be correct. It's running Node.js, which is exactly correct. I have no idea, actually. Let's just try this Docker Compose build. I don't know. Docker Compose build. Okay. Docker Compose up. I saw something that just said failed. Did you guys see that too? It said failed. I saw Eureka request failed. Import. What's the time? 11:17. Okay, I'm gonna look at that. 11:17. I'm gonna look at my own video and see, because I saw failed. I saw something failed. I just don't know what failed. And then it just goes too fast. Okay. So let's come here and check our Eureka. There it is. Look at that. Front-end gateway. Got it. Okay. let's reload this. Okay. Come here and testing new product. Okay, quantity is going to be 7. And we're going to add that, please. Yes! Yes! Okay, now let's go here. Come on. Testing new product, quantity 7. It was able to query the database. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Oh, there it is. Okay. Note to self, build first, then do Docker compose up. Okay. Oh man, there we go. So, all right. We solved that problem. So I will be back in a little bit. I'm gonna take a small break, and then I'm gonna come back. I was able to solve that a little bit faster than I thought that I was going to solve it. And now, actually, that's really cool because previously, every time I needed to start up my project, I had to go directly in. I had to come in here. I had to open up my terminal, a new terminal. I had to go CD and then go into whatever, go into the producer, right? And then do my Maven W Spring Boot run, press enter. Then I needed to go into uh, the registry microservice. Then I needed to go into the front end and the consumer and do the exact same thing, start up every single one. And it was kind of becoming a little bit of a pain because it was just annoying. Every single time I needed to start up my project, just to start every single one of them, which is actually why I was trying to say, like, hey, I think I'm actually going to move Docker ahead in this project because previously I was thinking Docker is, we need to learn it because who knows? The project needs to have it because who knows? What's it doing? Why? I don't know. It's probably just adding extra complexity. But I keep seeing Docker and containerization in all of the required skills for becoming a software engineer. So I put it in my project, not really thinking about the actual benefits. But then I started, once I got doing my project over and over and over and over, I started realizing, this is actually kind of annoying. Oh, Docker is actually very helpful. And now all I need to do, this is crazy. I don't need to go and do 10,000 things. I just go and I'm able to come here. Hold on, where is it? Here we go. I'm able to close out everything, right? Once it closes out, come on. I'm able to close out everything, and I'll even just delete all that, right? Open up a new terminal and say Docker compose up. I'm not touching anything. And we're live. Oh, that's so cool. I like Docker now. See, now I understand what the importance of it is. And then obviously I know Docker has a lot of other advantages where you're able to take these containers, migrate them to other places, you're able to scale things out, and then you have something called Kubernetes, which is an orchestrator, it said. And you're able to get it to have your containers grow and shrink dynamically based off of need and resources. But as of right now, like, okay, this was a pretty cool use case, and I'm glad that I was able to get this accomplished, and it kind of clears the way for me to continue moving forward with my project and adding a lot of features, because I still have a lot of features that I want to add. In particular, like this front end, I need to add authentication. I need to be able to get the user to log in. I need to store their session ID or the Java Web Tokens. I need to be able to interact with a database to store those passwords and log in. And then based off of that they can add things, or maybe they get user privileges based off of their rank. I don't know. But we're going to figure out how to continue moving this project forward. There's still a lot that needs to be done, but I think now it sets us up for success, that we can move a little bit faster, that we don't need to spend all that time spinning our wheels every single video, starting up all 5 microservices. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, if you want to continue on this journey, subscribe to this channel. That would be awesome. I would love to have you along in the journey, and I will see you guys probably in about, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes. I'll take a little bit of a break and then refresh my mind and come back and start more of this project. Oh, there's one more thing that we forgot to do. What do you think it is? What do you think? What do you think? So we're going to close it. Can you guess? Once it closes, I'll show you. We need to save. Okay, so git add and then git commit, and we want to do what? Let's just say got docker containers working, all microservices are able, got docker compose, I should say. Compose working, because we actually got docker containers working a little while ago, but now docker compose, everything can start at the same time. Are able to communicate with each other. Tested functionality, all is good. Git push origin main go. Okay, there we go. We saved. So thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you guys very soon.